You're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews. And now, here's two guys who have taken the art of summer body odor to a new level, Evan and Joe.
I'm Joe Ticotsky down in New Haven, Connecticut.
I'm Evan McFarlane here in St. Andrews, New Brunswick.
And you're watching episode 86 of Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV, sponsored by the Oat Company of St. John's, Newfoundland, and Covered Bridge Potato Chips from Hartland, New Brunswick.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's go with part 2 of the Potato Chip Challenge. What kind of chips are you trying today? Did you eat them all again?
Come on, man. You know me well enough to know chips don't last in my house.
Oh,
Those
man.
were gone. The box they sent was gone in like a day and a half. I have a problem.
I'm actually down to my last bag. Today on air, I'll be sampling Atlantic lobster.
Okay.
There you go, Atlantic. Now, as with the last time, it's 8:25 a.m. Eastern time. Perfect potato chip time. I've never tried these before.
Nothing like washing down some toothpaste with some chips.
Exactly. I might as well have fish breakfast.
How do they taste with coffee?
Yeah,
those are good.
Atlantic lobster. I won't tell you what's in here. I need a spoon here.
It's probably melted
in
butter.
My teeth here.
Nice.
Well, for more info on their company and to order online, you can go to coveredbridgechips.com. Covered Bridge, made to satisfy any palate with a punch in every crunch. How's that one?
That's a good handle.
And we also don't want to forget our original sponsor, the Oat Company of St. John's, Newfoundland. Always natural and no sugar added, which my diabetic and heart doctors will like. They'll be sending us more products soon, and you can order their delicious bars online at oatcompany.com. Well, coming up, we'll interview one of Canada's best young basketball players who's already been making a name for herself collegiately in the U.S. You're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. Welcome back to Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV, sponsored by the Oat Company in St. John's, Newfoundland, and Covered Bridge Chips, located off Highway 2 in Hartland, New Brunswick. Evan is on assignment, breaking down film of the Raptors draft picks, so I'll be flying solo for this interview. Our first guest was a 5-star girls basketball recruit from Toronto and was ranked number 10 nationally while in high school. Toby Fournier is a 6'2" forward who just finished her freshman year at Duke and was named ACC Rookie of the Year while helping lead the Blue Devils to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament back in March. In just 20 minutes per game, the 19-year-old averaged 13 points on 53% shooting from the field and 43% on threes. Toby has NIL deals with Leaf Trading Cards and Subway and is currently a brand ambassador for Roots in Canada. And we forgot to mention, she can dunk. So let's chat some hoops with Toby Fournier. Toby, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
First, I apologize for wearing the colors of that school 8 miles down the road, which we will not name. All right. What other sports did you play growing up, and when did you think you were kind of getting good at basketball?
Well, the thing is about me is I tried a bunch of different sports. So I really just put myself in every single sport. And my parents, it got to the point where my parents were like, we're not putting you in anything else. Because every single sport that I tried, I would just quit. So I think I tried volleyball. I definitely did. I even played volleyball and basketball a little bit together. I did ballet, which was just not for me. I did gymnastics and it didn't work out because it got to the point where I was like on the bars and my feet were touching the ground. So it just wasn't my sport. And then my siblings started playing basketball and I would kind of visit the gym that they were at. So I was like probably 12 when I first started playing. They saw me in the gym and they were like, you know, how old is she? She's already like 6 feet tall. So they kind of like, I guess, recruited me a little bit to do some training there. And from there on out, I kind of just fell in love with it.
Okay. Now, what women's basketball idols did you have growing up?
Because I started playing later on, I didn't have as many, but I think now I've gotten to the point where I've started watching a little bit more. So Asia Wilson, she's more new. Like I don't think she would have been playing as much when I was growing up, just because I wasn't really playing basketball, so I wasn't watching her growing up. But Asia Wilson, Elena Deladon, I modeled my game after her, the way she played, the way she shot the ball. Um, there's a lot of others too. Brianna Stewart. There's a lot, but just having those people to look up to, especially when I kind of was fresh and new and I had just started.
We had when I was coaching AAU, we played against Della Don, and our point guard, who was like a normal 5'9" point guard, was being guarded by her, and she was
Oh
like,
no.
this is not fair, not fair.
No, not at all.
Coming out of high school, what other colleges were on your final list, and ultimately what made you choose Duke?
Well, I had a top 8. I don't know if I can remember all of them off the top of my head, but I was recruited by essentially every school. After I think like grade 9 is when my offers started coming in, because that's when I started playing like AAU and stuff and going down to the States. So I had offers from UConn, South Carolina, obviously Duke. Duke actually didn't offer me till later on, I think, like early my grade 11 year. And there was a few schools, like essentially every school that you can think. Like I had offers from a lot of schools, but I really just had like my top 8, and that's who I was focused on talking to because I started to narrow it down a little bit.
So what pushed you to Duke eventually?
I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. I wanted that balance of academic and also athletic life because it's hard to get into a lot of schools. I feel like, a lot of schools are predominantly one or the other. So you have, academics, but the sports aren't very good, or you have an incredible sports team, but the academics aren't where they should be.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to find myself having that kind of balance. And I think Duke was perfect for that. And then when I started talking to the coaches, I just knew like they had such a good vibe to them, especially, Coach Kara talking to her on the phone. I kind of developed that relationship with her. And then Coach Tia, it's just full of so much energy. And then eventually getting to know all the other coaches that also came on. And then when I came on my visit, I still wasn't sure because I had UCLA in my top and Duke in my top. And those were kind of my top 2 schools that I was going in between. And when I came here, I just like fell in love with the team and the girls and the bond that I already had. So when I came here, it was like, yes, this is my first time meeting them, but I feel like I've already like met them before and they're already like my close friends. So I knew from that point on that it would be Duke.
And Coach Lawson is certainly top notch. Another showing you how old I am, basically. We played against her when she was 10 years old for the Virginia Golds. She was an amazing point guard, like at age 10. But yeah, she's top notch. Now, college basketball fans may or may not know that you can dunk. How old were you when you first dunked, and have you ever done it during a game yet?
I was, I think, 13, I was like dunking a little tennis ball. So that was kind of like a big deal for me. And then when I got to like playing AAU at 14, I remember during one of our practices, I was feeling really bouncy. So I was like, you know what, let me just try it out. I didn't really think anything of it. Like I didn't think anything would happen. And it just kind of like, it was really close on the first try. So I was like, okay, let me just, continue and see what I can do. And then eventually I was getting up there and finally I dunked the ball and we got it on recording. So I think my first official dunk was probably 14.
14?
Yeah. And then have I ever dunked in the game? Yes. In high school, I used to dunk in games all the time, like on breakaways and stuff. Whenever I got the opportunity to, I would dunk the ball. And it started with like 1-hand dunks, and then eventually I got down to having my 2-hand dunks as well.
That's awesome. What parts of your game are you looking to improve on?
I think I've always been a very dominant post player, just being more physical and also a lot longer and taller than the girls. But now being in college, especially Division I, you have a lot of girls that have the same athletic abilities as you. So I think that for me, what I'm trying to do is just expand my game further than just being in the paint. So being able to shoot the three when I can, being able to have a mid-range jump shot as well. So shooting is definitely very important for me. And also just being able to improve myself on defense. Again, high school wasn't like that top notch. You know, we
Yeah.
played a really competitive league, but it was just like, okay, you don't get back on defense, I'm gonna still block the ball. That's like, I'd be fine. But now it's like, if you don't get back on defense, like they're
You
scoring on
pay.
you. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to be like picky, but 65% of the free throw line, we're looking to get you to that
Oh
50,
yeah.
40, 90 level, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. My dad always talks about that. Like, I'm surprised I didn't bring it up, but my dad is very on like every game after we have our little like talks or whatever, and he's very pushy with the free throws. So for sure, that's definitely something I want to advance in my game as well.
Well, you're a good shooter, so I think the key is if you get to the line, eventually that'll bring itself up. Future goals in terms of things like Olympics, WNBA, what do you have there?
I think what I'm focusing on right now is, you know, just getting my team where it needs to be. Especially for this year, I think we have a really strong team. I think that we can get the natty. Like that's been something that I've really wanted to celebrate, especially with these girls, because we just have such a strong bond together. So being able to get that natty this year with my seniors, because we have a lot of love for our seniors, so just being able to have that win with them. I think that's my biggest goal right now, because it's just like this is the closest thing that I'm working towards. And then obviously with the national team, Team Canada, I really want to go to the Olympics with them. I think that'd be great. They have some amazing players on the team. And I think that we have a really good chance at, you know, being competitors within that league as well. And I mean, I think those are my main two goals right now.
Okay, how about WNBA?
Oh,
You got
WNBA.
Toronto
Yeah.
team coming in, and
I mean, it is kind of far away, so I don't think about it as much. But I think, yeah, definitely WNBA is something that I want to do. Um, yeah, for sure. I think I want to explore that after college, and then see what I can do there as well on that level, because it's just like the difference between like you have high school and then you have college and then you have the WNBA. So just being able to get that to that level of physicality before I, you know, have my senior
yeah,
year.
you're playing against 33-year-olds. I mean,
Yeah, yes, exactly.
different world. All right, before we let you go, we have to mention this little known fact. Your mom played Lucy Fernandez in the TV shows Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High from 1987 and 91. I looked up online and it said that Lucy portrayed a wealthy rebel who acted out recklessly as a teen, including shoplifting and throwing wild parties. You ever pull out the old VHS tapes and watch Mom?
I think we did. Like one time we were at my grandpa's house and he had like the old tapes of my mom. And I think we watched like a few episodes, but it's so funny. Like to, you know, to other people, she's just, you know, anyone else on screen, but seeing her act, especially when I wouldn't say she's like that. I mean, not anymore. I don't know how she was as a teenager. But seeing her act is just, it's so funny to me. But I've never gotten like deep. I never like watched the series. But I've watched like a few clips, and if you like look it up, you can like look her up and then watch some of the scenes. So it's funny.
That's my mom. Well, she is Toby Fournier from Toronto, soon to be a sophomore on the Duke women's basketball team. You can follow her on her Instagram page, where she's on her way to 100,000 followers, which is a little more than our show's total of, I think, 41 at last check. So you're killing us there. And Toby, the invite is always open to come out to St. Andrews and work our basketball camp, and we will gladly let you dunk on my co-host Evan, who couldn't make it today. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, and continue good luck as your basketball career continues to grow.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Well, after the break, we will talk arm wrestling. You heard that correct. Arm wrestling on Small Town Spotlight. You're watching Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV, brought to you by the Oat Company of St. John's, Newfoundland, and Covered Bridge Chips from Heartland, New Brunswick. Welcome back to Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO-TV, brought to you by the Oat Company from St. John's, Newfoundland, and Covered Bridge Chips from Heartland, New Brunswick. For this edition of Small Town Spotlight, we head to Alberton, Prince Edward Island, population 1301. And 4 of those 1,301 people are the Dumas family: Mom Crystal, Dad Mike, and sons Thomas and Tristan. Many families have activities that everyone participates in, but not many families list arm wrestling as that activity. Back in October 2024 in Greece, son Thomas, then a 13-year-old, won the World Arm Wrestling Championships in the U15 division. A truly amazing feat. So, for our first foray on the show into the sport of arm wrestling, let's welcome in Thomas Dumas from Western PEI. Thomas, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joe.
How was your family introduced to the sport of arm wrestling?
My cousin Travis introduced us back in 2017. He was quite good and he showed us like a tournament and we got really into it.
And that was you were in Manitoba living at the time?
Yep, we were in
Okay.
Manitoba.
Now, which part of the world would you say arm wrestling has a big following and a lot of participation?
I would say the biggest is Georgia, the country Georgia. It's very,
Okay.
very popular and it's a very, very high level in Georgia.
How about the state of Georgia?
That?
How about the state of Georgia in the U.S.? I'm just joking.
It's quite popular there too.
Yeah. Now, how do you train for arm wrestling? Like, what is actually done during your training?
I do mostly wrist training. To me, the most important part of arm wrestling is your wrist. If you win the wrist battle, you win the match. So I do lots of wrist curls. I do what's called pronation, supination. I do where like it's called rising, keeping your knuckles high. That's mostly what I do.
Okay. All right. Now, can a physically weaker person beat a stronger opponent if they have better technique or strategy?
Yes, they can. If they have a better technique and speed, they can surely win the match as long as they do everything perfectly.
Okay. Now, in your family, I know it's you, your brother, and your parents. Do you all participate competitively in arm wrestling?
Yeah, we all do. My little brother hasn't for a little while, but he's starting to get back into it. All of us
Okay.
compete.
Can you beat your mom?
Yep.
How about your dad?
Not yet. Soon. Very soon.
Okay. Okay. You're coming for him, huh? Now, last October, when you were only 13, you won the U15 World Championships in Greece for both arms, which is amazing. Now, is it a separate competition? So there's do some people enter just the right arm competition?
Yeah, there's 2 different days for Worlds. They start off with the left arm, and then the second day is the right arm. So you can just do one arm if you choose, but I like to do both.
Okay. Now, which one do you think you're better with?
I'm much better with my right arm. I don't train my left arm very much. It doesn't respond as well, so I mostly train my right arm. I'm much better with it.
Okay, but you still won the left arm, right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. What countries were represented at the World Championships?
I went against United Kingdom, Bulgaria, Poland, and Sweden. But there was much more countries. There was I think Spain was there. There was tons of countries.
Georgia.
Yeah, there were some Georgians, Azerbaijan, there's a lot.
Cool. Now, being younger, at least in this tournament, younger than everyone, do you go in thinking geez, how am I going to beat these 15-year-olds? Or did you think you had a legit chance to win it?
I almost knew I was going to win. It's like
Whoa.
when I found out I was going to Worlds, I almost knew I was going to win because I had enough time to train and my preparation was perfect.
Okay. Now, do you ever, who helps you with the training?
I have a club, arm wrestling club called the
Okay.
Pain Plant. So we have Jody Harper, Logan Leclerc, and we have quite a few more members. I do training with them, but at my house, I just train alone.
Okay. What's the name of the place?
It's called Pain Plant Arm Wrestling.
The Pain Plant. I like that.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you ever watch film of opponents, or is that not done?
I watch them a lot, yeah. I like to see what techniques they use, how they assert their technique, how their setup is. I really pay attention to what they do.
Okay. Are there a lot of injuries that occur in the sport?
There's not as much as people think. There's definitely some, of course, but there's not nearly as much as, say, a sport like hockey. Of course, there's going to be some injuries, but there's not that much.
Yeah, I think everyone just sees those one or two videos of the arms snapping and all that
Yeah.
fun stuff. Now, since you're still pretty young, what future goals do you have in arm wrestling?
I would like to make arm wrestling my career, my full-time job. That's my main goal, and then just become as best as possible.
So, are there a lot of adults that is their main job and they just travel tournament to tournament?
Not many of them do it as their main job because they're not quite good enough for it. Like they can do it once in a while, but they usually have arm wrestling with their main job, like carpentry, whatnot. I know Devin Larrett does it as his main job though.
Okay. Is there, as you get older, is there money for winning each tournament?
Yeah, some people make really good money. I don't know if I should say names, but my friend, I heard he made 60 grand in 2 months.
Really?
So there's pretty good money in it. Yeah.
I think once you're old enough, like you just go down to the bar and challenge people, and then they say,
Yeah, I could try that.
Exactly. That's how it always starts out. Now, before we let you go, because most people don't have a lot of inside knowledge of a sport like arm wrestling. What was the longest competitive match that you've ever been in?
I think my longest was around 15 seconds. It was at Atlantic's, my left arm. It was quite a good match.
Yeah, because everyone has that. I don't know why, but everyone has that thing of like, the two arms just going back and forth and neither one's giving in, but
Yeah.
they're over. Now, how about what was the shortest?
The shortest, it was less than a second.
Really?
It was less than 1 second. I clipped it like I clipped it and it said it was less than 1 second. It was like 0.8 or something like that.
Must stink if you're the guy that loses and then say, "How'd you do today?" I lost in 0.8 of a second. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. So, all right. Well, he is Thomas Dumas, 14-year-old world champion arm wrestler from Alberton, PEI. Amazing, like at your age, the career you've already started for yourself, and it's cool to see how dedicated you are to the sport, and hopefully you could grow the sport in the area also.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, continued good luck, and thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we're back. Joe, I noticed you cut out the part where you arm wrestled Thomas and he smoked you in like half a second.
Yeah, I couldn't embarrass a 14-year-old kid. You pin him in 3 or 4 seconds, and you kill his ego for life. So I just couldn't do
Absolutely.
that.
He was so graceful to be on the show. We want him to stay friends of ours.
Exactly. Very cool customer on camera. Well, on next month's edition of our show, I'll give a full recap of my trip to St. Andrews and PEI, and we'll also have those now famous camper interviews. So we'll see how that goes. Any shout outs on your end?
Yeah, I'll keep this one. I've been keeping my summer ones pretty basic and wide-rounded. I'm going to first give a shout out to my staff at the Algonquin Golf Course. We're having a record year. It's extremely busy here, but the morale has been high all summer. So good work for them for working their butts off and keeping us the great place we are. And then I'll give another shout out to my friends at the Dragonfly Center for Autism, who will be wrapping up the end of their summer. They come out and visit me every week. And honestly, that hour that they come out on Thursday mornings is one of the highlights of my week. I love those guys.
Good stuff. I'll give two quick shout outs. First one is to our Connecticut Starters AAU girls basketball teams. The two older teams just finished out our 37th season as a club.
Wow.
I started at age 11. We were at a Nike tournament in Chicago where the season ended, and just a really great group of players, coaches, and parents. And as you know, that really makes it worthwhile and easy. And then a second shout out before we go to my good friend Bill Jacobs, owner of Peace Pizzeria and Brewery in Chicago. They recently celebrated their 24th anniversary, and we actually took both of our teams out there last month in the Wicker Park part of Chicago. They have awesome thin crust pizza as opposed to that casserole style soup known as deep dish Chicago pizza. But so shout out to Bill also.
Nice.
Well, we are out of time. So that is it for episode 86 of Mc&T Sports Report. I'm Joe in New Haven.
I'm Evan here in St. Andrews.
Thanks to Patrick Watt and Florence Mitchell for producing and editing a show that all the cool kids will be talking about on their first day of school in September. And thanks to the Oat Company from Newfoundland and Covered Bridge Chips of New Brunswick for sponsoring the show. This is Mc&T Sports Report on CHCO in St. Andrews. And like the old song from before your time, from The Happening says, see you in September. I would sing it, but, you know, it's too early. The chips.
Yeah, no, we don't need that. Chips flying everywhere.
All right, we'll see you next month. This is Mc&T Sports Report.